Today on My Uncle Thinks He Can Cook, we're making Mom's Chicken Chili, or Dixie's Chicken Chili. I always have to use the original recipe that I wrote down because it always ends up with remnants of each cooking. So there's always splatters here and there, and it just reminds me that I've had this many times and have enjoyed it. Let's quickly go over some of the ingredients you're going to need. A medium onion, a few cloves of garlic, some chicken broth, tomato sauce. Now you're only going to need two of these, either the tomato sauce, the petite diced, or the puree. Pick two. Beans. Usually about 4 cans. I really like black beans, and I also use the chili bean. I know that my mom used to use those big red kidney beans a lot as well. You can have your choice of whatever you like. Currently, I am boiling 2 large breasts of chicken. Boiled. Did I say boiled? Boiled chicken. So we've diced up our chicken. Now for our onion, I'm going to dice part of it, and then I'm going to use this chopper to mince the rest of it. All right, so we're gonna add our diced onion in there. Begin. I better use 2 hands. That's better. Add the minced onion. And then we're gonna also wanna use this for our garlic, which we're going to use. It says 2 teaspoons minced garlic. Basically that's about 2 cloves. I'm going to use 3. All right. Minced garlic. So with our chicken, our onion, and our garlic, I am going to just take a dash of olive oil and kind of saute this a little bit over some high heat for just a couple of minutes. We can go ahead and open all of our cans. So we dump in our petites. Petites in juice. And our sauce. Oops. Don't need any metal in there. Next, we're going to add our chicken broth. Instead of the water, I use more chicken broth. So I do use more than what the recipe calls for, which is just a half a cup. Let's add our beans and now, occasionally, I will even split the recipe of the meat, and I will do half chicken, half beef for like a gumbo type of style of chili, which is actually rather good. Okay, now for our spices. Now, this is where the chili really gets its kick because there are a lot of spices in here. Let's begin. We're going to start out with a little dried oregano, 1 teaspoon.
Oregano, what the hell?
Some of you may get that joke. Most of you probably do not. 3/4 of a teaspoon salt. That's way too much. over the shoulder for the stuff I spilled. There's our salt. Half a teaspoon of paprika. A little over is okay. Half a teaspoon of red pepper. A little over is okay, depending on how spicy you want it. For my brother, that would be none of that. Turmeric. I never really understood how to say that. Turmeric. Quarter teaspoon ground turmeric. A little over is okay. 1/8 of a teaspoon of sage. Thyme. 1/8 of a teaspoon of thyme. I could use more thyme than that. Okay, next, 1/8 of a teaspoon of dried mustard. Not the mustard you put on your hot dog. The dried mustard. Like so. Actually, maybe a little bit more. Now we're going to add a teaspoon of soy or thereabouts. And a teaspoon of Worcestershire or thereabouts. The two main spices that we're going to use, of course, is chili powder and ground cumin. Now this only calls for 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Well, we're going to ignore that because we're going to go for quite a bit more than that. Probably that's more like 4 tablespoons. And the cumin, it calls for 2 teaspoons of cumin, and we're going to go for about a tablespoon or a little bit more. Trust me on that. Now it's looking like chili. And our last ingredient, the secret ingredient in this, is about 1/2 cup of beer. Now, I wish I had a darker beer for this. A darker beer is much better, but I don't, so I'm going to go ahead and just use a Bud Light. Anything is better than nothing. And I'm going to put about half of that can in there. And now we're just going to let it come to a boil and then let it simmer for, I don't know, half hour or so. And it will be very good the night you eat it, but it'll be even better if you come back to it the next day after the spices sit for a while. That's it. That's my mom's chicken chili with a few of my changes with the amounts of certain ingredients that are going into it. We'll call it the Christmas chili because it's almost Christmas. And maybe the most important side dish to go with your chili is, of course, cinnamon rolls. Now, I don't know about you, but they used to serve cinnamon rolls with chili on the chili day at school, and I have not been able to have chili the same ever since, especially when they're buy one, get one free.